Designers and Builders, where design meets construction. We explore groundbreaking trends and talk to the pros reshaping our spaces. For your dream home, workspace, or just great design inspiration, subscribe to Designers and Builders. Hey everyone, Steve Larosiliere here, and welcome to a special recap episode of Designers and Builders. So we've just wrapped up our first 7 incredible interviews, and I've got to tell you, the insights, the story, the raw honesty from guests, it's been absolutely mind-blowing. Today, I'm talking to you behind the scenes of what we've learned, whether you're an interior designer, builder, or someone thinking about jumping into this industry. This episode is going to give you the real talk about what it takes to succeed in the business. Grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into the patterns, the problems, and most importantly, the possibilities that emerge from these conversations. So who are these people? First, let me tell you about the incredible humans that we've had on the show. We've kicked things off with Antonio Deloche. Let me tell you, this guy's energy is infectious. He went from selling furniture at a high-end showroom to running Antonio Deloche Designs with projects in New York, DC, and LA. What struck me most is that he started by solving small problems, literally selling pillows, and turning those relationships into full home designs. Talk about playing the long game. Then we have Miriam Silva Verga from Mimi and Hill. She and her partner Hillary started as kitchen table designers 15 years ago, just 2 women with good taste developing friends and helping friends. Now they've got 20 employees. They run a full design build operation. Miriam told me straight up, I walk into every site, I meet every construction team, and I want to look them in the eye and know that I'm the best in the business. That hustler mentality, it's super real. Maurice Pennington brought a completely different perspective. He pivoted from being a pastor to running a design consulting firm. He's all about solving problems and building relationships. His quote that struck me, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I love that so much. Micah Stanley, our architect, gave us the technical side, but with heart, running his own firm. He's navigating the challenges of client communication and project management while staying true to good design principles. Allison Handler, now here's someone who gets the power of social media. She transitioned from fashion designer to interior design and build her entire business through Instagram. She told us, I'm putting myself out there as a human, a normal person, so people feel less inhibited to reach out. And it works. She's booked solid with high-end projects. Alyssa interviewed Jason Easterly from ENS Builders. This guy revolutionized his approach to contracting by being radically transparent. He shows clients exactly where their money goes, completes projects in half the typical time, and actually answers his own phone. Revolutionary construction? Apparently, yes. Then Alyssa also spoke to Tiffany White from Mid City Design Group. Talk about a unique journey. She has an MBA and spent 10 years auditing federal contractors before following her passion into design. Now she's incorporating neuroscience into her practice, asking clients about their favorite tools and music to understand the subconscious elements that create perfect spaces. She's doing everything from luxury residential to healthcare facilities, even redesigning hospital beds to be beautiful and functional. So now here are the common threads, and here's where it gets super interesting. Despite the different backgrounds, fashion, furniture, sales, ministry, architecture, federal auditing, these successful professionals share some striking similarities. So non-traditional paths are the norm. Not one of our guests had a straight line. Antonio studied pre-med. Miriam worked at this whole Old House magazine. Maurice was a pastor. Jason was headed for physical therapy. Tiffany has an MBA in entrepreneurship. The lesson, your unique background is an asset, not a liability. Relationships over transactions. Every single guest emphasized this. Antonio said it best. If you do something right for a client, that almost guarantees you 5 more leads. Jason echoed this. Be honest. Don't sugarcoat things. Set expectations. Tiffany takes it even further. She's there for clients for years after project sets, becoming their go-to for everything house related. The next is like systems and teams are everything. So Miriam hiring someone just for plumbing and tile buying. Jason has a detailed estimation process. Allison has 4 team members handling tech and admin. Tiffany has an extensive questionnaire that digs into sensory preferences. The message is clear. You can't scale without systems and you can't do it alone. The next is authenticity wins. So it's Allison's dancing with her kids on her Instagrams, Antonio's vulnerability, sharing his coffee table book with typos, or Tiffany admitting she wakes up at 3 a.m. to sketch ideas. Being real creates connections. And as Maurice puts it, let people see your heart. All right. So now the challenges, right? So let's talk about what's actually hard in this business because our guests didn't sugarcoat it. The first is an education gap. This came up in every single interview. Clients don't understand what things cost or how long they take. Miriam mentioned real estate agents giving unrealistic renovation estimates. Jason talked about clients who already bought a house based off bad information. Tiffany noted that people invest $100,000 and expect it to last forever. The burden of education falls on us as an industry. The next is the scaling struggle. The second is the scaling struggle. How do you grow without losing quality, without burnout? Miriam admitted the current pace is not sustainable. Allison is doing too much admin work. Tiffany's project spans 2 to 3 years. Everyone's wrestling with this balance. The client communication, Micah really drove this home. Clients often can't articulate what they want. So we're left interpreting. Jason's solution, radical transparency from day one. Tiffany's approach, a deep questionnaire that uncovers subconscious preferences, but it's still a challenge. The money conversation is next. Nobody likes to talk about money, but everyone has to. Jason requires a retainer for estimates. Antonio bills for taxi rides to carry samples. Miriam's clear. We have to take a little less and charge a little more. Tiffany doesn't show individual item pricing, just the total budget. All right. So now here's some trends and success traits. Some fascinating patterns emerge about what's working right now. So the first is called the wellness wave. Jason called it everyone wants a sauna now, right? Everyone wants a cold plunge. In integrated gyms, steam showers, wellness spaces, this isn't going away. Tiffany's even studying neuroscience to understand how spaces affect well-being. Next is platform building, whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, a newsletter, or podcast, having a platform matters. Allison built her entire business on Instagram. Tiffany gets most of her high-end clients from LinkedIn. The lesson, pick a platform and be consistent. The next is specialization pays. Miriam and Hillary have someone just for plumbing purchases. Jason won't travel more than 25 minutes to a job site. That's great. Allison has a specific aesthetic. Tiffany becoming a go-to for healthcare design. The riches are really in the niches. The next is custom is king. With tariffs and supply chain issues, custom is becoming more prevalent. Tiffany is already creating custom furniture and even redesigning hospital beds. She predicts this trend will only grow as incoming importing becomes more challenging. So now here's some actionable insights. So here's what you can do with all of this information. Here's what I'm taking away and I'm applying to Purpose Design Build. So define your unique value. So what's your story? Antonio leveraged his furniture background. Maurice brings pastoral counseling skills. Tiffany uses her MBA and auditing experience. What unique perspective do you bring? And I know for me, like I worked in art, I worked in nonprofit. I have sort of deep empathy and I can understand and interpret what people say and what they're not saying. I understand context too. So the next is platform building. Start that Instagram, write that newsletter, share your work. As Allison proved, consistently beats perfection. Tiffany's LinkedIn strategy is bringing in celebrity clients. The next is like invest in systems early. So like don't wait until you're drowning. Jason's estimation system, Miriam's specialized hires, Tiffany's sensory questionnaire. These aren't luxuries, they're necessities. Embrace messy action. Antonio's coffee table book had typos in the first version. So what? He fixed it and moved on. Tiffany's bondemonium took years and put multiple pivots. So perfect is the enemy of done. Next is know your numbers. Every successful guest talked about specific numbers, project cost, timelines, team size. You can't manage what you don't measure. And then the last is like think beyond the obvious. So Tiffany's redesigning dental chairs in her spare time. She's asking what makes people frown and solving those problems. Look at opportunities that others miss. So the mindset shift. So what really separates the successful from struggling in our industry? Like they think long term. Miriam called it a marathon, not a race. Antonio turned pillow sales into whole house projects, right? Tiffany maintains client relationships for years. They're playing a different game. They value their time. Jason charges for estimates. Antonio bills for transportation. Tiffany doesn't give individual pricing. They've moved beyond, I'm just grateful for work phase to I'm a professional who deserves to be paid. They're building to last. Even if they've never planned to sell, Miriam and Hillary are building systems that can outlive them. Tiffany's creating processes that work whether she's there or not. This is a different level of thinking. They're educators. Each guest sees education as part of their job, not a burden. It's an opportunity to elevate the entire industry. And Tiffany's even teaching clients about neuroscience and sensory design. And lastly, they're problem solvers. When banks won't finance an $8 million house, but would finance a $3 million barn, Tiffany didn't give up. She designed a barn dominium. When traditional paths don't work, they create new ones. So, some closing thoughts. So, after 7 interviews, I'm more convinced than ever that we're in the most dynamic, challenging, and rewarding industries out there. Yes, clients don't always understand what we do. Yes, scaling is hard. Yes, the hours can be brutal, but we get to transform spaces. We get to solve problems. We get to build relationships that last decades. And we get to leave our mark in the world one project at a time. The designers and builders we've interviewed aren't just successful because they're talented, though they are. They're successful because they've embraced the messy middle, built real relationships, and never stopped learning. So here's my challenge to you. Here's what's one thing from this episode that you can implement this week. Maybe it's starting an Instagram account or optimizing it. Maybe it's hiring that assistant. Maybe it's digging a little bit deeper, and maybe it's being a little bit more transparent with your next client. So, whatever it is, take action because our guests have shown success in this industry isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Thank you so much for joining me on this recap. If you haven't listened to the individual episodes yet, go back and check them out. Each conversation has so many more gems that I can fit into this summary. And remember, we're all designers and builders in our own way. The question is, what are you going to create next? This is Steve Larosiliere, and on behalf of my co-host, Alyssa Olson, I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.